Hi, welcome to another episode of the Ike Zeke Podcast. I'm Ike, that is Zeke, and we got a packed episode for you today. A lot of different topics, and then a new topic which we're going to talk about as well. So, without further ado, we'll get started with WWE. Of course, it's been a jam-packed week with a lot of events going on, but we wanted to highlight one specific PLE that happened on Sunday, and that was Evolution. Of course, Evolution is an all-women's pay-per-view, and it's all devoted to women's wrestling and how, how far the women's wrestling has come and how great they are in general. So I have a lot of thoughts in terms of what happened, but I'll let Zeke discuss what was some of his highlights and, things that he thought perhaps could have been better, but I don't know if there's a lot that could have been better because it was a great PLE in my
No, it was trash.
Yeah, here you go.
No, kidding. No, it was a great pay-per-view all around. Like, it didn't feel like there were any bad matches from, like, the Intercontinental Championship, from even the tag team match as well, and just all around amazing. With Jade too and Naomi, their fight as well was great. Like, there was just so many great wrestling matches. Like, usually there's always like, I could have lived without this one, but they really showed up and showed, especially Iyo and Rhea Ripley. That Iyo Sky, I love Iyo Sky and everything again.
Before you keep going, because I just had one thing I want to say. Are you sure? I was thinking about this. Is Iyo Sky, is she the best wrestler, on planet Earth right now? No matter, gender.
That's a good question. I'm gonna say every time I watch her, as far as if we're just talking about wrestling, it's always enjoyable. Like, she knows how to, do everything right. You could argue she's the equivalent of Shawn Michaels in that regards.
In a different way, yeah, because she's able to have matches with anyone, so that's what Shawn Michaels does.
Yeah, exactly. So as far as wrestling goes, I don't think it's far-fetched even.
Maybe Kurt Angle. I think Kurt Angle might be a better, because she's
Okay, man, I'm sorry.
Because Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels are different. When I think of Kurt Angle, I'm thinking like a pure wrestler. That's why I'm thinking of Iyo Sky like that. But Shawn Michaels is more he's a great wrestler, but he was more so it's his charisma, how he was able.
Iyo Sky's charismatic.
Iyo Sky.
Yeah, what do you mean?
I say, if we're comparing Iyo Sky and Rhea Ripley, who is more charismatic? Is that the first thing that comes to your head when you're thinking of Iyo Sky? Is charisma?
In some ways, yes.
Okay.
Wait, you.
The crowd goes loud for her because she's a great wrestler. Nobody is going loud for her because of her aura, like they are for Rhea Ripley.
She has aura. What are you talking about?
Isaiah, if we're comparing Rhea Ripley and Iyo Sky right now,
why are you trying to compare two that
because
both
we were talking about
they both have aura
Angle and Shawn
but
Michaels.
They both have. Why can't two things be true? Why can't Iyo Sky and Rhea Ripley both have aura?
I'm not saying that. No, that doesn't because
what are you?
You're using that word very loosely. Aura is used way too loosely now. When I'm thinking of people that have aura in WWE, I'm thinking Roman Reigns, Rhea Ripley.
See, it's not always about crowd cheers, though. I feel like
that's exactly what it is about. When the crowd comes in and they feel you, that is aura. That is exactly what that means. Undertaker, aura. When I'm thinking of a wrestler, Chad Gable. Chad Gable does not have aura.
Okay, that's fair.
But he's a tremendous wrestler. Just like Iyo Sky is a tremendous wrestler.
She has aura, though. What are you talking about? How are you?
In what way, Isaiah? Because she does that one, that thing.
Y'all, you see, you're. It's Rhea Ripley gets such because you went to one Raw live and heard her
No, I've been saying this for months, and of course you wanted to mention that, but I've been saying that for months. But you just don't want to agree with what other people say because it's so different. But Rhea Ripley, she generates the loudest crowd noise, and she has done that for almost years now.
But you can't say that she doesn't have charisma though. You cannot say that. she captivates people with her wrestling. That's charismatic in its own way. But then even outside of that too, she's charismatic in her own way as well. Like, just because she's not talking as much as
that's what
So Kane wasn't really talking that much, but did he have charisma or?
Charisma is stop saying charisma. No, Kane did not have charisma.
With
do you know what charisma is?
Yes, charm. It's about he had a charm about him.
Kane,
when he was wearing the mask and everything, yeah, it wasn't like a oh my goodness, but it was like
you're just again, like I said, you're using this word very loosely, and it doesn't make sense to say. Like someone who doesn't have Kane barely talked when he had the mask on.
So you gotta talk to be charismatic? You gotta talk?
I say it.
Is Rey Mysterio charismatic?
There's a difference between charisma and aura. Rey Mysterio has a great aura to him because we know that he's the ultimate underdog. That was part of his.
But there's a charisma to him too, though.
How, Isaiah? Do you know what charisma means?
What does charisma mean? Tell me what charisma means. I want to know in your own words. What does charisma mean?
The personality. What personality comes out of Rey Mysterio?
The mask is his personality.
Thank you.
So that's charisma.
Having a mask, that means that you have personality? Eddie Guerrero is charismatic.
Yes, he is, yeah.
Okay? Eddie Guerrero is different than Rey Mysterio.
So are you saying they both are not
who?
Are you saying Rey and Eddie are not charismatic?
Eddie Guerrero is definitely charismatic. We could hear it from him.
See, you don't remember the WCW days with Rey Mysterio on this show.
Okay, now we're bringing up I'm talking about WWE, okay? And this was meant to be, I was trying to have a crowning achievement of Iyo Sky being the greatest wrestler on the planet right now.
And I'm trying to highlight Iyo Sky. You trying to talk about being charismatic.
When you say things that aren't true, though, you can't, you can't say things that aren't true. She is a tremendous wrestler. She's not charismatic.
She is charismatic.
People are not drawn to her because of her personality.
What do you mean? What? Yes, they are.
They're drawn to her because she's a tremendous wrestler, and it shines through sometimes.
Why can't two things be true? Why can't it be wrestler and also...
It can be true if it's actually true.
See, no.
But
can I please go back to hyping up?
Hype up the actual women's division. Don't say something that isn't true.
I didn't even say nothing. You was the one that started it. Was talking about, I want to stop you right here.
Yeah, because I had to. I knew for a fact you were going to say something that was outlandish, perhaps. And
you the one that brought up if Iyo Sky's up there with,
the greatest wrestler on the planet right now?
Yeah. You the one that brought that up. I was like, yeah, you could argue. And you just got mad that I brought up Shawn Michaels. That's how it really all started.
Yeah, because you compared her to someone who is...
Okay, maybe it wasn't... Fine, maybe
that's why I said Kurt Angle is a better comparison.
Fine. Potato. My goodness. Both two charismatic wrestlers, I would say. With Kurt Angle and HBK. Okay, anywho. Yeah, and just... It was entertaining all around, and then especially Naomi coming in at the end and stealing it and everything. That was that great twist that we needed. It added a little je ne sais quoi, if you will, and it was great. I enjoyed it.
You're so corny. But do you think Evolution was the best pay-per-view that you saw, that's happened this year?
But consistent, everything was consistent. There wasn't one where I was like, oh, okay, let me just turn off this match, or I'll watch the highlights for it, or I really enjoyed all the matches, so I could say, yeah.
Yeah, Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus, that was a good match, given where Trish has been. She doesn't wrestle that much, and
exactly,
good showing for her as well. The No Holds Barred match was. It gave Jade Cargill the bump, and then because we didn't know that Naomi was gonna cash in later tonight. That wasn't I was not expecting that. They've been talking and hyping it because she's on SmackDown, she was gonna cash in on Tiffany Stratton. I thought she was gonna cash in perhaps on Tiffany Stratton that night. Yeah. I think Rhea Ripley and Iyo Sky, that was it's always recency bias. You have to be wary of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I watched that match and I was like, that's like, if that was at WrestleMania, that would have been the best match.
Oh, for sure, yeah, for sure. That's not ridiculous.
And I think there were 2 matches at WrestleMania that were like potential match of the year candidates. So like,
definitely,
I think WWE understands that Iyo Sky and Rhea Ripley just need to be involved in matches now because, yeah, they fought at Raw, they fought at WrestleMania, Evolution, they're fighting again at SummerSlam, so.
It's a good recipe,
yeah. They like, definitely have chemistry.
Yeah, the chemistry is there, and you could, not to make a comparison again, but to your boy Shawn and Bret Hart and everything.
Oh my! Wow, you going with these comparisons.
I was just saying, like,
Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart.
If we talking about best wrestlers and all that, like, and everything, I mean, what, Rhea Ripley ain't up there or anything now, or?
I definitely think that she's showing that, yeah, she can definitely, like, she can wrestle. She's not just, like, a powerhouse and all that. She definitely can fit with anyone. But, wow, Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart.
That's what it's starting to feel like, because it's like, I mean, even though they have the triple threat and everything, it's like, yeah, they can have a match with each other, they have a fatal 4-way, but if they're involved, it's gold and everything now, so.
Perhaps it might be, like, I'd say might be, like, in terms of the storyline, what they're doing, because Rhea Ripley, like, the story is that Iyo Sky still has her number. She can't beat her. So it might be like Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Because, like, Roman Reigns, for all his greatness, still, like, the storyline is that he can't beat Seth Rollins. It's always, like, Seth Rollins has his number. But
yeah, I would like it if they do the long-term storyline where it's like
she still can't beat her.
Yeah, and everything, and then maybe like I could see it being a big moment at WrestleMania or something where it's like she does end up, like, that's not gonna happen soon, but it'd be like a big thing. So
yeah, it would.
Yeah, exciting stuff though with the
women's division for sure. All right, guys, it's time to talk about a very, very entertaining show that I think a lot of America has been following throughout this summer, and that is Love Island USA. That was not bad, actually.
Exactly.
So the finale just happened, and I think this season especially has been a whirlwind for everyone that's been watching. And I think we got like a kind of storybook ending to the season with Amaya and Brian winning the season.
Amaya Papaya!
Yeah. And I think there was a lot to take away from the season. I think a lot of people at times were frustrated with the lack of true connections or connections being voted off from the show.
Oh Lord, I know.
But no, I have nowhere to go. I think we could talk about a lot from this season, but I want you to, aside from Amaya and Brian, because I know that's probably like the thing that's been at the forefront of people's minds, especially after the finale. What was one element of the show that you thought was positive and one that you thought was negative?
Yeah, that's a good question. As far as positives go, I enjoyed seeing the friendships and the comedy. I think the friendship and comedy there, especially between Nick, Ace, Taylor, that they were very entertaining to me. Like anytime they came across the screen, and even the girls too, they were entertaining as well. As far as like everyone brought different things, I would say, as far as positives go, and for me, I enjoyed everybody. I really did, and I genuinely enjoyed. There wasn't necessarily one person where I was like, "Can you get off my?" I mean,
really.
As far as when I say that, I mean in terms of like, for me, I like the drama. I like the toxicity. So for me, I was like, "Hey, you help it, this shit." But I mean, towards the end, of course, I'll admit this goes into my negative. Like, okay, I had fun with it, but now it's like, okay, can we get serious now? Can we get serious about the love and everything and all that. And so for me, one of the strongest genuine connections I thought was like Ace and Shelly for sure. And so for me, when like Chris and Huda still survived, and then even Iris and Pepe. I mean, Iris and Pepe is still a couple, but as far as if we're talking about genuine connections and everything, I thought Ace and Shelly
genuine from just like long term. Because
I'm talking about in terms of long term, because yeah, like when you think about it, you know, Ace and Shelly were like, again, they explored different connections too, but they still found their way to each other, and I felt their love was more wholesome. Like with on the show, you didn't ever see anything outlandish with them or anything like that. You know, like I mean like as far as nighttime activities and everything like that. You know. But for me, like I thought that it was shocking to me that they didn't even make it to the Final Four, especially when they chose to be exclusive and closed off. But then at the same time, that's another negative too. Like there were like a lot of couples you could argue that were like that had connections and that were close, but then they ended up being voted off, like Taylor and Clark and you know, even Charlie too, and like with Hannah and all that.
And Hannah herself especially. And
so that was and then with Huda as well too. There was a lot with her for sure. But like I said, she was entertaining, and you know, for me, I was cool with her. I was honestly cool with her because hold on, let me like after I was like, wow, with Jeremiah it was kind of crazy and everything. I was like, okay, I was hopeful for she got a new connection with Chris and everything. Like again, I'm strictly speaking about connections. That's all. I'm not speaking about her as I'm specifically talking about romantic connections. Just to be clear. So yeah, with her and Jeremiah it didn't work, and then with her and Chris, I was like, okay, there's potential there. You know, like there's like gonna be something there, something special. Like I was trying to be hopeful and everything because it's like, I mean, we ain't got no like long term. We only got Ace and Shelly, so I guess I got to do something. And then Nick and Landry wasn't together yet, so I was like, all right, let's see what happens. And then for me, I was like, oh man, didn't work out with her and Chris and all that. That finale episode was, man, I was like, I could not believe it. It was just craziness, but yeah, overall, it was just, I think a lot of the voting, I think people were. I understand a lot of people being upset about certain votes happening. I know you were upset about certain, you know, votes with some people, but for me, it was still an enjoyable season. But I think definitely, I'll say the last thing I will say is making sure everyone does background checks, you know, on people before, because it would have been interesting to see two certain characters. I mean, two certain people in there and everything before. After all the stuff that came out and all, but yeah, like I said, I'm just speaking about the connections and speaking about the show in general. It was entertaining in its own way, and then as far as the love goes, it was a little shaky. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little shaky.
Yeah. I think one thing, two things in my head that really stick out. One is it actually pertains to like us as America, like watching the show and our voting and how like impactful it kind of was. Indirectly, a lot of times we were responsible for people getting sent home, because when we would vote for like a lot of times this year, it would be like our favorite boy or our favorite girl, and like the people that got the fewest votes, those people were on the chopping block. They were like possible or single and vulnerable to like get voted off. I think America's votes at times, I think they could be lightheartedly and like messy. Like for example, like when we were voting for the three bombshells, Pepe, Jalen, and Iris to come on the show, that came on the show, and then we were voting for them to be coupled up with someone. Like it made no sense really for Iris to be voted with Jeremiah, and I think that was just like. That's funny.
Messy. Yeah,
that's messy.
Yeah.
That's messy, but like I understood. Like I get it, and it's kind of just lighthearted. So like it wasn't like I wasn't really angry about that. But fast forward to the end of the season, and people now, they're voting for top 4 couples, and people didn't know it at the time, but Hoda and Chris, they clearly did not have a good connection because it ended up being cut off in the finale. Like, in the finale episode, she friend zoned him. Okay?
Friend zone. Ooh, a friend zone.
So, like, I just don't understand why people are so combative, and then in the comments, I'm reading the comments, and people are just like, I'd still vote for Huda, like, no matter what. And it's just showing now, like, it's not about people voting now. They don't vote based off connections. They vote off based off who they like. And so a lot of people, surprisingly, in the first half of the season, I thought Huda was not very liked by most of America. It somehow turned the other way, where she was kind of liked by most of America, and she almost, like, single-handedly, basically, almost won Love Island. And so that's just the theme for me, where I think perhaps they're, like you said, with background checks, maybe they need to, like, make sure people that are voting, they're actually 18 years and older, perhaps. Because I think a lot of kids were voting, and they just vote based off of what's just funny to them. And yeah, no, I thought that was the thing that was just annoying to me. Second, I think a lot of people now who need to come on the show, of course you want to see people on the screen, like, they're going to be seeking out people that are, like, objectively attractive people. I think to steer away from the conspiracy theories that could come on, you don't want to have, like, people who are already famous. Because I think a thing that came about was with Ace and Shelley, like, they knew each other before.
Oh, Lord.
I'm not saying... This is not me.
Yeah, no.
People are saying this. People are saying that they thought that they could have perhaps already had a relationship.
They did not. They did not.
I don't agree with it, but I'm just saying, like, you can't deny, like, people had that opinion. And so they were already also famous as well. A lot of people had, like, Huda, I think, already had, like 1 million followers or so, something around that. And so you already have a big following as well, and people might be thinking that you're just coming here for more clout, as opposed to actually, like, trying to pursue, actually finding a relationship. But all in all, I think it wasn't as, like, I think I was still not disappointed, but I was still entertained by the season. I think, unlike you, I'm not, like, interested always in, like, toxicity, especially if it's not healthy.
No,
I think
drama. Yeah,
in the first half, like, I think sometimes, like watching Huda, like, call Jeremiah out of his name, that's not entertaining to me. That's just, like, borderline abuse. So I don't think that's, like, fun to watch.
And I want to be clear about that. I don't want to say toxic. I mean, like, drama as far as, like, in hopes that things work out too. Like, for me, like, that's the biggest thing with, like, Huda and Jeremiah. Like, even though it was tense, it was stressful to see what Jeremiah was going through, but there was a part of me that was like, oh, I hope they do work it out though too. Like, I do hope that they can still find a way.
No.
That was me. Like, I was trying to be hopeful for that. Like as much as I was like, oh yeah, this is crazy and everything, there was still a part of me that was just like, oh, I hope this works out. I hope, like, come on, like, can y'all fix it? Can y'all work this out, please? Like, y'all are entertaining right now, but just imagine, like, if they got through that, they would have won. Think about that, well, you never know. Like,
people voted for it to get broken up.
Huda made it to third place and everything, and so...
Yeah, because people started feeling bad for her, because the producers of Love Island were definitely trying to paint her in a certain light of getting, like, a redemption story. And I think I'm all for, like, people like, I take things as they are. Like, when situation happened with her and Chris, I wasn't holding, like, what happened with Jeremiah or whatever against her. She deserves second chance. I'm always for people getting chances, but like still like that doesn't mean because you get a chance that you like automatically now I'm just supposed to like vote for you to succeed. Like I think a lot of people were just doing that because of how the show was portraying her or trying to portray her.
Mm-hmm.
But I think definitely was I think season 6 was as good as it can be. I think we were bound to have a slight letdown, but still, I mean, it was a good month and a half of reality TV show. So, all in all, I think it was a success for them, and good use of time for us. I finally got him into watching it like consistently because he would always just like check in here and there for like one episode, but he actually towards the end he was watching it with the family
and like so. I really did enjoy it, and like I said, I enjoyed everyone on the like as far as just in general, like in different ways, and I feel like they all
wait, okay, yeah, no, before you get this is the last thing, this is the one thing I hate. The thing that really gets on my nerves is when people are saying like she's just not my type, he's not my type. Can we just like look at people and see if they are like attractive?
Oh,
like all of these every woman that like came on this show, like it actually annoys me because it seems like it's borderline like you're just like so fixated on like one thing and it's like almost like a fetish. Like, okay, I'm really just into like foreign Latinas. I'm into blonde girls. Like, can you just like look at anyone and be like, no, that she's an attractive girl. She has a great personality. I want to get to know her. Oh no, but if she doesn't have blue eyes, then I'm done. No, like, what are we talking about? That doesn't make sense to me. It actually annoys me. And yeah, you're laughing because you might be one of these people who are like, my type didn't come in, so I can't look at that. Like, what are we talking about?
No.
I just had to get that off my chest, but
yeah,
we can move on now.
It, man. Like, you, how long you been keeping that in, man?
Because it's annoying. I'm looking at like objectively, like, all these girls are attractive, so it's about finding the one that you can connect with.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't like when people are like, oh, she doesn't fit my archetype, so I'm just not gonna try it. I'm not even gonna open myself up to like getting to know her. So
yeah, I mean, there are people like that in real life too. As far as like I knew some people in college, and they said, "Oh, I only talk to this type of girl or this one girl." Like,
yeah, that's the thing that, like, saying I only talk to those types of people. But I understand having like, if you have like a preference, perhaps. But saying like if you don't think someone else is like attractive, like. And it's just weird to me, like, how you think only one specific, like, it could be for body type, it could be race, it could be whatever. Like, if you just think a certain type of person is only attractive. That's what doesn't make sense to me.
Mm.
But I digress.
Yeah.
Move on.
Alright, sounds good. Talk to you.
Alright guys, we're going to end our episode again with a discussion on faith. And we're actually going to be starting a series which is devoted... He's so confused. We're going to be starting a series which is devoted to the fruits of the Spirit. Okay?
Oh, okay.
So, I'll say it all right now.
This is my first
time. Yeah, it's first time hearing it. I just made an executive decision that we're going to be doing this. And... the 9 fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, gentleness,
patience,
goodness,
kindness,
faithfulness,
yeah,
self-control.
Oh yeah, self-control.
And finally, what we're going to be discussing today, patience, like you said.
Yeah, I didn't know we were going in a specific order.
It's not an order, but I'm just... Okay. So, today we're going to be discussing patience, and I think patience is something that, we think about in just everyday world of, having patience, whether that's just having patience with other people, having patience with yourself, and just understanding like who you are as a person, and how you need to, not always be willing to just have everything at once. I think this world glorifies instant gratification. I know that I'm a victim of it at times as well, just wanting things to happen when I want them to happen. And I think, having a great relationship with God, you need to have patience at times, because you're not always going to get what you want, but you will always get what you need. And I think one verse that really just exemplifies that sentiment is Proverbs 14:29. And it what?
You took my scripture.
Wow, we can just elaborate on it further. We don't discuss, guys, for context, we don't discuss what the other is going to be talking about normally. So, it just shows that we're on the same wavelength, I guess. So it says, whoever is patient has great understanding, but one who is quick-tempered displays folly. And I think, patience, it's a sign of wisdom, because it takes a lot of restraint to not beg for something that you just want right then and there. And folly, that word, I had to look it up because I didn't know what it meant at first, but it kind of means foolishness. So if you're not displaying wisdom, the opposite of that is just being dumb. And I know that's a blunt way of saying it, but yeah, at times it's like you're not looking at things in the right way, because you're not seeing what God sees. Instead of putting your whole submission to Him and expecting Him to know you better than you know yourself, because that is true. He knows us better than we know ourselves. And He knows what we need, when we need it, and how we need it. And so I think, it takes practice, to develop patience. And I think, like I said, in the everyday world, you have to, use patience. And I think allowing yourself to, practice that on yourself, not being too hard on yourself. I think for me at times, I can use a real world example for me right now when I'm trying to work out at the gym and I'm not seeing all the results that I want. I have to exercise patience to understand that, each day I'm sowing into what I'm going to try to look like a year or two from now. And what I'm doing right now, it will show up then and there. But of course, again, we all want instant gratification. I wish right now I could have the dream body that I want, But the work that I'm putting in, it will be reflected when I see the results. And that's the same thing with God. He wants us to be able to trust in Him, be patient in what He is giving us, and then we will be rewarded. And it's always right on time. Also, right when you need it. Sometimes when you least expect it, and sometimes when you do expect it, He strikes. So that's what I have to say on patience.
Nice scripture to take from and everything too, with all that. But
you said scriptures earlier. So
I did. I see. Because I
you have stuff in your arsenal. Good.
Yeah, I do, and but yeah, for me, with patience, I think a lot of times we don't understand how much it's needed in our everyday lives. Whether it's not even just working out, as you said, trying to get your body right, but exercising patience for when you're trying to learn something new, or exercising patience when you're trying to achieve a certain goal, as you said, or even in our relationships as well too. There's we are imperfect in different ways, and there are people we gotta deal with that have flaws or bad habits even that we may not like and everything too, and that takes a lot of patience and everything as far as that goes. And so patience is all around us. It's in everything we do, in all of our relationships even too. And so, like, why is it important to have it? And it's so important because God really does require that of us, to have patience. And scripture that does come to mind is Psalms 37:7. It reads, "Be still before God, before the Lord. Wait patiently for him and entrust yourself to him. Do not fret, whine, agonize because of him who prospers in his way, because of the man who carries out wicked schemes." And so, this practicing patience with God, like, as far as like just being patient, because again, life is, you're gonna go through so many ups and downs and everything. And then even when you think about all the people in the Bible too, from Moses and Noah, and like, again, think about that. Noah had to be patient with all the animals on the ark, and he had to be like building the ark too as well. And that takes a lot of discipline. Like, patience is a discipline that you cultivate, exactly. Like, there are times where, again, like in the Bible, there's so many stories of people just like being angry, not just at like with in their relationship, but like with God too as well, like just being angry and all that. And then like the final scripture I do want to say is 1 Corinthians 13:4-8. Love endures with patience and serenity. Love is kind and thoughtful, is not jealous or envious. Love does not brag and is not proud or arrogant. It is not rude, it is not self-seeking, it is not provoked. It does not take into account a wrong endured, and it goes on, but it just shows that there's nothing impure about impatience, almost, in a way, Like, everyone needs that. Everyone needs to have that in order to grow in general. If you're trying to grow in your relationship with God, you have to be patient. You have to be patient during the times that are good and during the times that are bad too as well. And so just practicing patience with that, and then even practicing patience with like I said, friends and family, co-workers, everybody, like, you're practicing patience on a daily basis. And so it's just so important to understand the value of patience, understand the value of, understand that it's a discipline, like, it's something that needs to be practiced on a daily, because again, it's not easy to be patient. It's not, if everyone was patient, it would be a different world we lived in and everything. But it's a discipline that God requires of us, that Jesus requires of us as well too, as far as dealing with this world and everything, dealing with the evils of this world. Because again, this world will hurt you. This world will bring you down in different ways. It will, like financial struggles or food insecurity, poverty, all those different things. And even your mental health as well. And like, again, just wishing and thinking to yourself, man, I want to be better now. Like, why do I got to go through seeing a therapist, or why do I got to go through counseling? Why do I got to take this medicine and everything? Why can't I be better now? And it's a mindset thing, because there's so many people that struggle with that, and understandably so, because it's not easy being patient. It's arguably one of the hardest things you can do and everything. And it's hard to like be patient. It's hard to be because with patience there's also hope as well too. Like, those two go hand in hand. There's hope in there, and like there's a quote that talks about how we can't live a second without hope and everything. And so we got to be patient in hopes that we can get better. We can get over this hump that we're dealing with, over this struggle that we're dealing with, over the temptations that are like going through with us. And so I just encourage everyone to just, again, keep hope alive by being patient. Keep hope alive by, practicing patience, by understanding that it's a discipline and mindset that requires continuous work day in, day out. It's a muscle almost for just in general that you have to work out on a daily basis. And if you keep working it out, if you keep patience, keep hope alive, then good things are in store for you. I pray and hope.
Yeah, that's good. For next week, Zeke kind of like his verse, 2 Corinthians 4:8.
Yeah.
That kind of highlighted a little bit of what we're gonna talk about next week, and that is
not
love.
4 and 8. My bad.
4 through 8, something.
I'll make sure.
Whatever.
13, 4 through 8. 13,
Okay.
4 through 8. Yeah.
Well, you were talking a little bit about the topic of love, and I think that's something that we're gonna discuss next time. So, yeah. But that's all we have for today. I'm gonna say thank you for tuning in again, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, yeah.